125 stars. That's 4 passes minimum, or around $68 if you're counting out the Steam fees. And that's just to have the privilege to roll the dice. And it is rolling the dice, because much like the other limited edition items in the Armory, patterns do matter. So let's talk about whether you should redeem one, if you should sell if you already did, and why this skin might be the most important addition into the Armory Valve has given us so far. Not financial advice. Alrighty, first impressions with the AK Aphrodite. When I first saw it, I thought it looked alright. It's not too bad. It's just not something I expected from an 125 star AK. It's definitely the blander, less in-your-face gold arabesque. I do, however, like the mother of pearl finish that they gave to the stock hold part, whatever the fuck it's called, which is a really nice way of putting they dip the AK in a vat of olive oil. But after using it in game a few times, I'll admit it did grow on me a fair bit. The patterns definitely do matter in how it looks, and there are some good ones. It's not going to be a flashy gun, but that in turn makes it a nice canvas for stickers, which does affect the price of skins across the board. If the slate was looked at and valued just for its aesthetics, it would be 2 cents. But because it is such a nice canvas, it does command a few dollars, despite being a purple in a case that's relatively cheap compared to its peers. But still, for 125 stars, some anger on behalf of the community, I guess, is somewhat justified. But here's the thing though. My opinion on the skin, your opinion on the skin, nobody gives a fuck. Because how it looks doesn't really matter into what we're about to discuss in this video. Independent of the skin, the Aphrodite is 3 things. 1, it's a pattern-based skin. 2, it's a stress test on the prices Valve is able and willing to charge people for usage. And 3, it's a supply sink that's going to affect how the prices of other collections, skins, stars, fucking charms, whatever, what they're priced at and what they're valued at in the Armory ecosystem. Let's break down each of these, and we'll start with the most popular part, the one everyone's talking about. And of course, that's going to be the pattern. Now, like the case hardened or the heat treated, which this skin is clearly paying some homage to, a lot of the Aphrodite's value comes from the pattern index in which it carries. Now, seemingly the best patterns are decided by the first dude who puts out a guide on Steam, but nonetheless, what he has determined are there's 3 types of gems: purple, gold, and bronze, with purple and gold being the 2 most sought after out of the 3. However, don't sleep on the bronze ones. I think they look the best, to be honest. Right? It's case hardened, it's heat treated adjacent, and we know price history of the gems in those 2 categories. Now here is some useful information. For the 3 types of gems, there are roughly 100 to 75 tier 1 patterns for each 3 patterns respectively. That means when you redeem, you have around a 30 to 35% chance of receiving some amount of overpay based purely on pattern alone. And that's not terrible whatsoever, because that means even if you don't hit that 3% factory new chance, even if you get it in battle scarred or well worn, your tier 1 purple gem in that shitty ass wear is still going to command way more than the $50 in which you paid for it equivalent in stars. So that's your failsafe, and that's a very good buffer to have, 30%. The community deemed best purple gem is going to be pattern 885, which I will show on the screen, and I will also show you a gold gem as well as a bronze gem and what those ones look like as well. If you hit one of these tier 1 gems, you have 2 options. A, you can auction it immediately. Don't just throw it on the Steam market for whatever the current listing price is, because you're going to get more in terms of overpay. But because there's no established price history yet, your value might get undercut by people who don't know what they're holding or don't know that the gun has different patterns within it. Yes, you would be taking advantage of the new item hype, but the community may undervalue your skin at first. A month from now, it could be worth more. That happens quite a bit with rarer patterns. It is a risk either way. I will leave that up to you. I do think because it is a limited edition item and because the price is so high, there won't be a lot of tier 1s in factory new, so it might be best holding it until it's completely discontinued. That's the patterns. Everyone knows them. Everyone loves them. Let's go a little bit deeper. Something I noticed that I haven't seen anyone talk about yet on my radar, and that is the float value. Now, the AK ranges from 0 to 1. But if you look at the database right now on CS Float, there's been enough days we should realistically see each number being hit. However, the range 0.07 to 0.08 have not come out yet. Now, it might seem like a meaningless decimal, but minimal wear is 0.07 to 0.15. That's 0.08. By taking away 0.01, you're taking away 13% of the supply. So, theoretically, minimal wear is going to be rarer than usual. I don't know if this was deliberate on behalf of Valve or it is just an error in coding. Regardless, this is going to inflate the value of the Aphrodite in minimal wear. It also opens the door for glitched floats. Some skins have had this before. There is precedent. I believe it's the Nova Polar Mesh. And with a floating value error, you're able to get a value that isn't supposed to exist. I believe it's 0.5999998, something like when it's 0.06 cap. And those floats, despite it being a 4-cent ugly ass skin, commands thousands of dollars on the market. So be wary, because this skin could command a ton of overpay. And so even in a active collection, Valve still caps supply in this way. And that's not through hard, explicit caps, but it's through probability and just using that probability to forecast the future, right? We can realistically forecast how many factory new AKs there are going to be at the end of its life cycle, which is around 150 days, something like that. So let's talk about supply, because supply is pretty low. 5,000 units exist right now across all wares. 200 of them are factory new. This sounds like a lot. It's not, right? It's Premier Season 4 Week 1. In theory and in practice, this is going to be the most amount of an incoming supply we're going to see in about a 1 week span. The item's new. We have the most amount of people playing, and all the people that bought an AK don't have any stars to buy anymore. So supply will taper. Of course, it will still increase, but it will be at a way less rate than it is right now. The final supply might be something like 40 to 50K, which, if patterns hold up, would mean 2,000 AKs in factory new. That's extremely low. Hype will go away for the AK. New collections will come out soon while the AK is still out. So all the allocation is not going to go towards the AK anymore. There's also a huge money and time barrier to entry. You're going to need 4 passes to get 125 stars. That's $68 including the Steam fee. Then you're going to need to grind out the 125 stars. It's a huge time investment. Do you want to spend your whole entire investment on one roll of the dice, or would you rather just redeem, 125 stickers, right? Some people are not going to take the AK. So the model kind of converges. This high barrier to entry creates attrition on behalf of the players. That little float range error is going to make factory new and minimum wear that much a little bit rarer. We're going to have a skin with a supply that plateaus well before its theoretical max. Even for a patternless average AK Aphrodite in a shitty wear like well worn or battle scarred, the floor is not going to be 0. And it might not hit 50, the cost to get one, for a decent amount of time. Some people are going to pay more than 50 just to get the AK without having to do all of the work required to get the AK. And that floor is only going to rise once it gets out of the armory. The only thing that could realistically hurt it is it being an e-liquid item, which I cannot see happening. It's a red AK. People are going to want it. So don't have to worry about that either. Okay, so how should you play this? If you bought one on day 1 or day 2 and you don't have a tier 1 pattern, I would sell immediately on the Steam market. You'll sell into that first week hype. People are gonna want the skin. They don't wanna play enough to get the skin, so they'll pay you for it. And you'll get a premium. You'll make your money back in terms of the Armory Passes you bought to get it. On Steam, it's usually higher percentage-wise than a third-party site, even more than 15%. And with a new item coming out, prices drop drastically, so there is a risk of reversal there that's very real. Steam gets rid of that, nixes it completely. And the supply of Aphrodites that are going to hit the market are going to be low enough, buyers are going to pay a premium just to have one. If you redeemed a few days after the first day, and some of that hype may disappear, I would just hold, to be honest. The supply is extremely understated. The community is not a fan of the skin as of right now, but guaranteed, when that shit gets discontinued, they're gonna love it all of a sudden. And that AK battle scar that's worth $55 may double in price and recoup your initial investment, plus a little bit more. As I said before, if you have a tier 1 pattern, consider holding, or if you don't want to, auction on a third-party marketplace. There's no price history, so not only are you kind of a price maker, you're a price maker in a time of hype when people want the skin as much as possible. There's a lot of FOMO going around. But you have the opportunity of getting burnt if the market initially undervalues the tier 1 patterns in the first week of it coming out. Personally, I'd wait. It's not like you're gonna get less than $50 for a tier 1 pattern anyway, so I would wait. For the chance that the patterns become more highly valued, and that only scales with time as the AK gets discontinued. And as I said, if you did not buy on day 1, truly consider holding unless your profit is too good to pass up. People are sleeping on the fundamentals. Only 5,000 of these things exist. I understand it's only been a few days. That number is going to slow down. It will slow down even more so when new items are added to the armory. Every week will be lower and lower and lower. And that brings me to my most important point. If you're on the opposite side and you want to buy one of these tier 1 AKs while they're initially undervalued as they hit the market, try out You UUSkins, today's sponsor. Whether it's sniping those underpriced Aphrodites or just buying a new loadout for yourself, you need a marketplace with the lowest prices, the lowest fees, and You UUSkins is just that. You UUSkins allows NA and EU players to purchase directly from Chinese sellers. This means when you see those buff and U pin prices, that's what you'll be paying on You UUSkins. A massive inventory, 2 to 3 times larger than CS Float, with every skin, every pattern, and every sticker craft you've ever dreamed of. No trade holds, fast guaranteed delivery within 10 hours, and a 24/7 support if you run into any issues. If you want to get in on the AK hype before the community catches on, You UUSkins is the place to do it. Don't wait. Now, back to the Armory. Now, here's what a lot of people are missing as well, and it might be the most important part about the AK's addition into the Armory. Its cost. There are 5,000 AKs currently in the game. 125 stars, which means 625,000 stars, have been redeemed on this AK skin alone. Permanently removed from players' inventories, gone forever. This is the equivalent of like macroeconomic monetary policy. Stars are the currency of the Armory. Players hoarding all those stars, it reduces engagement for one. Why the fuck would I play if I have 8,000 stars already? I'm just waiting for the next drop. And the Aphrodite is meant to combat that in a way. It's going to absorb a lot of that excess capital people were holding. And it also forces a decision on behalf of the buyers. Do you spend hundreds of stars on this known high prestige item right now? Or do you save them on future rotations that might be better? And consider the price progression of the limited edition items. We had the XM at 15, the Deagle and M4 at 25, and now the AK at 125. So now that's the established benchmark for every covert that comes into the limited edition collection. Not only does that establish a baseline price floor, not really a floor, but a price. So if there is a new Armory knife that comes out, we could realistically expect it to be around 450 to 500 stars, which means people might save up for that and thus not be redeeming stuff already in the Armory, which could help keep supply suppressed currently in collections that we have right now. And it's been a year and a half since the Armory's been out. There's an inflated amount of stars. This combats the amount of stars in circulation right now. They want people playing, they want people buying more stars. By adding one item that you have to spend 125 stars on, you're combating the inflation and you're making people play the game more. So 625,000 stars gone, going to be more in the future. That's around 300,000 fever cases that could have been added to the pool, or around 125,000 M4 Fade, or around 625,000 Elemental stickers. But it also means that the new collections that come out sometime in late March, early April are going to have lower initial supplies during that first week as well. Think about how many potentials of those skins could have been added if the AK Aphrodite had not come yet. A lot of people wasted a lot of their stars, and they're simply not going to be able to accrue as much when that new update comes out. So if you have over 250 stars, I would get one of the Aphrodites. Not because of what the skin is, or if you like it or not, but because of the upside it does have. This item is going to have pretty genuine scarcity, drain stars from the ecosystem, which creates for less supply and thus higher pricing. But you also keep a reserve for the new March rotation. When everyone else is scrambling, you'll have some ready to go. And of course, the opportunity that arises if they allow trade-ups between limited and items, which might honestly be its own video. That's something I could talk about for a while, but it could be a thing, and that will only raise the AK Aphrodite's price tenfold. So the AK is not just a skin. It's a probe into the future of the Armory within CS2. Send me any cool sticker crafts you got going on with the AK Aphrodite. I saw a dude a few days ago put a like Nip Hollow 2015 on it. I could not literally fathom doing that, but it did look pretty good. With that being said, see you tomorrow or on Twitch later on. I don't care.